Hello, everybody. Well, here we have it. We've got Vyros 2 against Madrak 1 and Storm of the North with Coldstone, 2 min units of Raiders. And now that I'm looking at these min units, they've got one extra model on each one of them. Each one of those proxy bases is supposed to be a Raider, so that's 7 and 7. It should be 6 and 6. Unit of Champions with Skaldi. Lanyssa back there with the Samurai Sword slung across her back, looking awesome. And then 2 units of the Smog Belchers, the little gobbers. Troll Moses, Stone, Stone with the Sorcerer attached. And then we've got a Glacier King. Yeah, he's awesome. With all those trees. Well done. Well painted. Pretty cool. I went first. I got up the board and I put Discordia with the +2 armor bonus. I did not do deceleration with Vyros 2, thinking he's only got one gun and I've got shield guard set up appropriately. He walks forward 6, 1 bonus because of the speed of the stone, and his aim is to shoot this Griffon over here on the left. He does, and I shield guard it to Disco, who takes a point or 2. He shoots it again, who I shield guard to Imperitus, who takes a point or 2 to be Phoenix healed up next turn. And then the last shot hits and is going to be the crit stationary on the boost to hit. So I just take that one, and Griffon number 4 right there gets stationaried and has a sad day, but he's still okay. And everything is fine. Then he takes all of his raiders and he runs them into my face. Forgot to mention there's 2 units of bears that are going to be ambushing, and that's why his army looks on the smallish side. So he takes both units of raiders and he runs them into my face, and we have a board state that looks like this. The champions are going around the right, and Lanyssa sitting over there ready to score that flag. So my turn. This is my allocation for focus, and Arcanists are going to hand out a bunch more focus. Basic plan is to sprays for days and kill a whole bunch of raiders. Have some Griffins beat on some others, try and stay out of the threat ranges, stay off the board edges, and just kill the raiders for free. I mean, the champions are too far away for me to have to worry about much. And I'm going to do a cool thing where I try and bait his bears to kill an Arcanist on the left. And I'll show you what that looks like right here. I've got these 3 Griffins here that are all within shield guard range, so all 3 shots of the Glacier King won't be able to hit the Arcanist. And what that means is that there's no way for him to contest or deal with that flag based on where his models are unless he ambushes a unit of bears on the left. And I have 3 Griffins sitting right there ready to be loaded up with focus and get work done and kill some bears. Bear hunting season. It feels like a good trade for me. It feels like bait. It feels like if he doesn't contest that flag and I'm set up to contest that flag over there, the game can go my way. Imperitus is over on this side because for the rest of the game until that Glacier King is dead, he's got to be there with a couple of Griffins or Disco to put the Glacier King down into the dirt. So what my opponent does, I fail to kill that one raider. A built-in redundancy is so awesome. All that focus and all those sprays and all the different ways of making it happen, it's awesome. If Lanyssa can hit the 5 on this Griffin right here, his bears that can ambush right at where that clock is right now, they can come charging in and they can actually get to that Griffin, and then potentially champions can kill the Griffin right there, and he can kill this Griffin right here, and he can start sweeping this right-hand side, and then have Glacier King kind of sit back on the left and get ready to come in and, time is right, once the champions get there and he can't be charged. So that's the plan. However, Lanyssa rolls double. No, I think it was a 1 and a 2, or double ones, like Lanyssa does. She just loves, she is addicted to missing. Like, there's crack addictions. There's all kinds of addictions out there in this world. Lanyssa is addicted to missing, on average, good, consistent dice rolls. She's like, I got this. I tripped and I missed. Sorry, guys. And everyone's like, oh, we really wanted that hunter's mark. That's Lanyissa's life. Every time I've played her, every time I've seen her on the table, I don't know what it is about her, but yeah. So he misses that. Bears did ambush on the right because that had happened before Lanyssa came in. And this is what the board looks like now. They're going to go chill out in that corner and get ready to clear out this corner of the board. Champions came in on this Griffon and messed it up a little bit. Lanyissa's scoring that flag there after missing. Madrak's sitting in the bushes. And Glacier King is a little bit too much farther forward, but he needs some screening units. He needs something because he's with that forest there. I can just bully him out of the board for too long. It's kind of unfortunate. So this Arcanist over here scores, and he scores that flag, and he scores this zone. Scores now 2-1. It's my turn. It's time to get some work done. Plan is, I'm going to kill some Raider, and I'm going to kill some Lanyssa. I'm going to start off with killing Lanyssa, so that way I can get rid of the scoring potential over there, and also build up some synergy, and keep the bears fed, because I don't want to deal with those bears yet. So just keep them fed, feed the bears, and deal with them later. Once synergy gets built on these champions a little bit, I'm holding the 2 Gorgons and Disco as flex. Imperitus and all these Griffons over here are loaded up, and they're going to go into that Glacier King. If they kill the Glacier King, then awesome. Disco and the Gorgons are going to spray down some champs and do some work on the champs. If they don't kill the Glacier King, well, then dang. Disco's got to go in there and finish the job. So I send in a Griffon, and I send in Imperitus, and Imperitus rolls above average. He's rolling like 9s and 7s and 10s for his damage rolls, and it kills Glacier King pretty much by himself after the first fully loaded Griffon goes in. So then I've got 2 Griffons sitting around that have nothing to do. And then Disco and the Gorgon, one of the big things I want to test in this game is if the Disco and Gorgon spray a unit of champs, can I effectively control them and just ignore them for a turn? So Disco sacrifices movement. He sprays a unit of champs, needing 6s to hit. He hits all but 1. He boosted Skaldi. Skaldi's a unit leader. Skaldi can now not give orders. Now that they're all -2 defense, the 2 Gorgons come behind them and just start spraying them all down and doing decent damage. I think one champion dies from a damage spike on a boosted damage roll where he didn't want to. He hasn't popped his feet yet, but there was still more damage rolls to come, and he didn't want to get to a spot where he was at 4 boxes on each or 1 box left on each champion and risk them dying. So he just took the 11 damage and tough rolled on 1 champion and didn't make it. I think he tough rolled on 2 champions from 2 damage spikes, and one of them toughed and the other one didn't. So I killed 1 champion. But yeah, and I also killed that Raider. And now it's going to be time to pop feet. Oh, and because the Gorgons hit all of the champions, they're -2 speed, so even under stone, they're only going to be speed 4. So now I am scoring that left top zone, and I'm contesting that zone over there, and he has nothing over here that's going to score this right zone. That Arcanist is there, kind of, because that's where I want the ending spot for bears to be. It's also feet turn, so it's going to get Imperitus out of that forest. So yeah, his turn, he kills that Griffon. He kills that other Griffon over there, and he kills this Arcanist, and I get 3 feet movements, and Imperitus comes closer. Oh, these 2 Griffons, those were the 2 Griffons that were over here on the left. They ran over into the middle of the map because I figured champions can't get to them with a 6-inch walk threat. So they might as well just go make Madrak think twice about where he's going to live his life after he moves and pops feet and stuff. And so, yeah. He's also got nowhere to get, nothing to transfer from, so Madrak has to be really, really careful at this point in the game. He makes a stone wall, worried about getting assassinated once the Imperator starts moving up a little bit. He takes all the stone bros and runs them in front of the Griffon and Imperatus over here with the gobbers. And bears get a whole bunch of work done, and he doesn't, because the stones got in the way over here, none of them got into the zones on the left over here, so I slap clock again and win 7-2 because it was 3-2 at the end of my turn, and then slapped clock made it 5-2 because he didn't score any, and then I slapped clock again, making it 7-2, and that's how that story went down. So now let's talk about. Oh yeah, this is the end of the turn. let's talk about what went wrong here, because there's two big, huge key concepts, and we got to go back to the start of the game to see these two big, huge key concepts. I feel like the actual piece trades wasn't that bad. There's actually a couple of big key concepts. The first is deployment. Also, let's even go back before that. I went first. I won the roll-off to go first. Madrak 1 really, really, really wants to go first. It is so oppressive when Madrak 1 goes first. When he gets up the board and he has that feat for no charging, it's just rough. It really is. Me going first was a huge bonus for me, because if he does try and go into my face, I can go somewhere else and not have to worry about getting retaliation. Like I can maneuver around the board. I have the board because I went first. It's a huge, huge difference. And so that's the first thing. The second thing, I mean, he can't control that. There's nothing he can do. I rolled a 6, he rolled a 4. That's life. It's unfortunate. What he can control is the deployment. And that Glacier King has no screening units, has no whelps. It's just being set up to be bullied by Griffons and Imperitus for the rest of the game. I would say put it somewhere in the middle of the board where it's harder to reach and more annoying, and can potentially just scream in and destroy like massive amounts of Griffons or heavies and just be super, super annoying. I like it in the list. I did not like it being on the left all by its lonesome. And yeah, that's a double-edged sword. Your own dudes just get in your way sometimes. However, they also get in the opponent's way. And if you plan it and you use it right, Raiders having Pathfinder is a huge help. I think him going down the middle of the board is going to be a lot more effective. The champions don't have Pathfinder. They have Relentless Charge, though. Them coming around the right hand of this forest just takes way too long, and I get to ignore them when I probably shouldn't be able to. The other thing, the champion should be coming right down the middle of this opening right here, and the Glacier King should either be to the left or to the right, going across that rough terrain. That's what I think. And then Stone should be following up behind everyone. That might be a little bit hard to work out, but that's where I would be going with it. I don't think he should have thrown away all the Raiders here. I've got a lot of guns, but I think instead of jamming me, because there was no benefit to jamming me, I got to kill them scot-free. We talked about a lot about this at the end of the game, of what should happen with these Raiders and what would be the most effective use for how do you use Raiders. And in this case, there's not infantry for them to mulch, and their defense is pretty nice, but he ran them out of the Madrak even ground, so he didn't really get the most effect out of their defense. And they're tough, no knockdown from even ground. So what I think he should have done is maybe run 1 or 2 into my face to kind of establish a line. Just a few, maybe not even a few, but take the rest of them and put them spaced out in a line to establish the front lines at the edge of the zone so the rest of the army can catch up. And that way, if I'm using sprays, I'm only catching 1 or 2 at most. If they're in a Congo line going across the table like so, like how I'm moving the screen, since almost all my shots are sprays, besides Imperitus and Vyros. So I can shoot some of them if I want to, but if I go in melee, I'm just straight losing Griffons. I'm just having Griffons turn into champion food. So that's what I think. That was a big key concept in this game, was going first, the deployment, and the Raiders, and me getting to kill all the Raiders for free. Because, man, I mean, it's an interesting game because he has the tools to wipe me out. Champions will murder Griffons. Raiders, if he goes first and Raiders, I have to move into Raiders charge range, that's going to hurt. I don't want to take those charges. It's going to hurt. It's going to add some damage over time. That Glacier King and the chip damage from his guns will actually have a little bit of an effect on. Shield guards will really help, but yeah, and then bears, like I was able to ignore bears completely just because I can cluster my army into the middle of the board. There needs to be a threat to me clustering in the middle of the board and avoiding the bears, and that threat is Raiders, which have champions and a Glacier King behind them. That's how I see it, is that the pieces that he needed to kill my pieces did not make it there. And so I won on scenario. And that all stems back to the deployment and to just where we're at on this turn 1. Let me know what you guys think. A little long-winded. I enjoyed it. It was a great game. My opponent is fantastic as always. Thank you very much for playing me. And yeah, it was actually, this was nice for me to see with Vyros too, because in theory, I was really hoping that Disco and the Gorgons would be able to control the medium infantry spam that we're seeing in the meta quite a bit. I mean, Ron can do great into medium infantry as well, but there are just some times, like, say, Colgrima, where he doesn't like a Cloud Wall and a caster that can't be targeted by spells. He just doesn't like it. Just doesn't. Doesn't want anything to do with it. And if that's the case, it's nice having Vyros that I can jump on. Or Zerkova. Zerkova Armored Core is a great example of something Ron just doesn't want to deal with. Like, please no. I mean, I can play that game. Let me go back. I can play that game. But if he goes first and he gets to use his feet to get his army into me, it doesn't feel good. It just doesn't feel good. I don't get the assassination run I want because I can't deal with the army that's in front of me and can't get through his army to assassinate Zerkova, who has the super no spell, no charge, the super awesome defensive oppressive feat. So there's stuff like that where I want Vyros 2 to handle those type of medium infantry spams, where the Zerkovas and the Madraks are in the pairing. I got to be able to look at it and say, whatever their other pairing is with those particular casters, Vyros 2's got to be able to handle it. Now, if it's Borka 2 and it's Colgrima, what a list chicken for me. My golly. Because I don't think this Vyros 2 list wants anything to do with a Borka 2 list. I just don't have the model count to be able to hit things and be stationary. And if he goes first and gets up the board, it just, like, yuck. I just have to take an alpha. I don't want to take an alpha. Taking an alpha, I can just lose if I take an alpha. So, yeah, questions, things I got to figure out. I think my tools and my answers are here. I think I'm on the right track. I just got to figure those things out. Also, I got to reassess this game and look at what happens if he goes first. I got to figure out, is this matchup, how much does this matchup change if he goes first? And that is a question I'm going to continue to think about and ask and talk with troll players about. So, thank you everybody for watching. And really cool thing, something I forgot to mention. When I was going to kill this mountain Glacier King that was over here, you know how his Lanyssa missed the Hunter's Mark on my Griffon? Well, guess what? That's a defense 11 Glacier King. Lanyssa goes up there. She's like, I'm going to Hunter's Mark this so those Griffins can charge for free. She misses. She rolls double ones. So our 2 Lanyssa rolls this game was 1-2 and 1-1. Thank you, Lanyssa. Thank you for your contribution. The clone of you in either of these armies failed. Yep, that's all.